What is the true measure of a lost life? Is it possible to lose everything, your sight, your future, or even your own body, and yet somehow end up with more than you started? We are often taught that gratitude is a polite gesture. It's what you say when someone holds the door open or gives you a gift. We treat it as a social nicety, something soft and pleasant. But science tells us a different story. Psychologists have a term for what happens when people endure tragedy and come out stronger: post-traumatic growth. Research by experts like Dr. Robert Emmons shows that gratitude isn't just an emotion, it is a complex mental discipline that rewires the brain. It doesn't deny the trauma, it repurposes it. Today, we aren't going to talk about gratitude as a list you write in a journal. We're going to look at it as a radical act of rebellion against despair. We'll journey into the lives of three men who were handed the worst possible cards by fate. A boy who lost the world of light forever, a father given an expiration date, and a man born with no arms and no legs. Their stories prove that while we cannot control the darkness that falls upon us, we have absolute power over the light we choose to ignite within it. Andrea Bocelli wasn't always the blind tenor the world adores. He was a 12-year-old boy fighting a difficult battle with congenital glaucoma, clinging to the partial vision he had left. Then, on a soccer field, a wayward ball struck him in the eye. That accident was the final blow. The world went black, and it stayed black. Randy Pausch wasn't just a professor. He was a dreamer, a father of 3 young children, and a husband deeply in love. Then came the medical report that no one wants to read: pancreatic cancer, stage 4. The doctors gave him 3 to 6 months of good health left. He was told to go home and pack up his life. And Nick Vujicic wasn't just a baby born with a disability. He was a shock to his own parents. When the nurse held him up, his mother couldn't bring herself to look at him. He had no arms, no legs, just a torso and a small foot. As he grew, he wasn't just fighting physical limitations, he was fighting the crushing realization that he might never hold his wife's hand or pick up his own children. 3 different lives, 3 different tragedies: blindness, death, disability. Each of them had every justification to collapse into bitterness. But instead, they used a counterintuitive tool to turn their loss into a legacy. To understand the magnitude of their gratitude, we must first stand with them in the abyss. We have to feel the weight of what was stolen. For young Andrea Bocelli, the darkness was absolute. He had spent his childhood in hospitals, hoping to save his sight. The soccer accident shattered that hope. The doctors tried everything: leeches, surgeries, but nothing worked. Imagine being 12 years old and realizing you will never see your mother's face again. You will never see the sunset. The music was his only solace, but the grief was a heavy, suffocating blanket. He faced a future where he would always be defined by what he lacked, rather than who he was. For Randy Pausch, the darkness came in the form of a timeline. It was 2006. He was 46 years old. He had just moved his family to a new house, ready to watch his kids grow up. The diagnosis was a sledgehammer. Pancreatic cancer is aggressive and unforgiving. The darkness here wasn't just death, it was the agonizing knowledge of what he would miss. He would not be there for his daughter's wedding. He would not teach his sons how to play football. He was being forced to leave the party just as it was getting started. For Nick Vujicic, the darkness was internal and lonely. Growing up in Australia, the physical challenges were brutal, but the emotional ones were worse. He was bullied mercilessly. Kids called him a monster or alien. At age 10, the despair became too much. He told his dad he wanted to relax in the bath. He told them to leave him alone. There in the water, a 10-year-old boy tried to drown himself. He felt he was a burden. That is the depth of the darkness. A child believing his non-existence is a gift to the world. For each of them, the easiest path, the most logical path, was resentment. It is the gravity that pulls us down when we are hurt. Bocelli could have spent his life mourning his sight. He could have become bitter, angry at the unfairness of the universe. He could have used his blindness as an excuse to retreat, to do nothing. It's a seductive trap. I have lost so much, therefore I owe the world nothing. Randy Pausch could have spent his final 6 months in a state of rage. Why him? Why now? He could have withdrawn from his students and snapped at his family. He could have died spiritually long before his body gave out. The why me question is a prison cell with no windows. Nick Vujicic spent years in this trap. He prayed for arms and legs every night, telling God, "If you give me limbs, I will serve you." When he woke up the next morning with the same body, he felt betrayed. His anger was directed at his creator and at the normal people walking around him. He focused entirely on what was missing. This focus on the missing created a void that no amount of sympathy could fill.
So how did they escape? The shift didn't come from a miracle cure. It came from a change in optics. They stopped looking at the closed door and turned around to see the open window. This is the mechanism of gratitude. It reallocates your attention. For Andrea Bocelli, gratitude began with what remained, his hearing. He realized that while the world of images was gone, the world of sound became incredibly vivid. He stopped mourning the silence of the dark and started celebrating the music within it. He said, "I decided to trust in the other senses." He viewed his voice not just as a talent, but as a gift to be polished in gratitude for the life he did have. He famously said, "To be blind is not a tragedy. To have no faith is a tragedy." For Randy Pausch, the shift was profound. Instead of lamenting his death, he chose to be intensely grateful for his life. He looked at his cancer not as a tragedy, but as a notice. He said, "I have been given a privilege that few people get, the chance to say goodbye." He realized most people die without a chance to impart their wisdom. He had a winning ticket, time to prepare. He chose to focus on the 46 years of amazing life he lived, rather than the 40 years he wouldn't. This gratitude for the now birthed his famous last lecture. For Nick Vujicic, the turning point came when he read a story in the Bible about a blind man. Jesus said the man was born blind so that the works of God might be displayed in him. Nick realized his lack of limbs wasn't a punishment, it was a unique position. He looked at his small, deformed foot, which he jokingly calls his chicken drumstick, and instead of hating it, he became incredibly grateful for it. It allowed him to type, to operate his wheelchair, to swim. He realized, "I don't need arms and legs, I need a purpose." He shifted from begging for a different body to being thankful for the destiny this specific body allowed him to fulfill. Let me pause here and ask you, have you ever found a reason to say thank you, even in your darkest moment? Tell us your story in the comments below. It might inspire someone else today. This gratitude produced tangible, world-changing results. Andrea Bocelli didn't just become a singer, he became the most beloved tenor in the world. His voice, filled with a depth of emotion that perhaps only darkness can cultivate, has brought tears to millions. By embracing his fate with gratitude, he transcended it. When he sings Amazing Grace and reaches the line, "Was blind but now I see," you know he isn't talking about eyesight. he is talking about vision. Randy Pausch delivered his last lecture at Carnegie Mellon. It wasn't a funeral dirge, it was a celebration of life, full of humor, push-ups, and wisdom. The video went viral, viewed by millions. By choosing gratitude over self-pity, Pausch ensured that his voice would parent his children long after he was gone. He taught the world that we cannot change the cards we are dealt, just how we play the hand. Nick Vujicic became one of the most sought-after motivational speakers on the planet. He has traveled to over 70 countries, filling stadiums with people who have arms and legs but are paralyzed by fear. When Nick smiles and says, "If I can be thankful, so can you," it cuts through every excuse. He surfs, he plays golf, he has a beautiful wife and 4 children. His life is a testament that gratitude acts as a multiplier. It takes the little you have and makes it enough.
The blind singer, the dying professor, the limbless man. They teach us that gratitude is not a reaction to good circumstances. It is a proactive choice in the face of bad ones. It's easy to be grateful when the sun is shining, but the true power of gratitude is revealed when the lights go out. Randy Pausch said, "Showing gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful things humans can do for each other." Nick Vujicic reminds us, "I found happiness when I realized that as imperfect as I may be, I am the perfect Nick Vujicic." Gratitude didn't give Andrea his sight back. It didn't cure Randy's cancer. It didn't grow Nick's arms and legs. It did something far more powerful. It gave them the strength to live fully without those things. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, and confusion to clarity. So as you face your own battles, remember, you don't have to wait for the storm to pass to be grateful. You can learn to dance in the rain. If this video shifted something in you, share it with someone who might need to hear it today. And don't forget to comment below, what is one struggle you are facing, and what is one thing, no matter how small, that you can still be grateful for within it. Let's turn the comment section into a testament of light.